Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into the 16th hurricane season discussion for July 25th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, it would really be nice if you guys did hit that subscribe button. I really cannot believe that I hit 800 subscribers already, so thank you guys so much. And we're on our way to 900 and eventually even more exciting, the big 1,000 subscribers. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as ringing the bell notifications so you will not miss my next video. Also, please do watch the whole video because this does help my channel grow significantly. So please do watch the whole video and liking and sharing this video as well. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So I don't know if you guys saw the video, but sadly my 15th hurricane season discussion, I had a problem with the devices and everything, and so sadly my hurricane season discussion for the 15th one was muted. Alright, so but for today, alright, we do have our 16th hurricane season discussion. I figure I'd make it up to you guys by doing it this way. So we got some really important updates. So I hope you guys enjoy. So La Nina Watch, again, in case you guys didn't know, La Nina Watch has already been activated. It's been activated. So Southern Hemisphere spring, which is the Northern Hemisphere fall, say we have a chance of increase around 50% chance of a La Nina during the Northern Hemisphere fall, aka the Southern Hemisphere spring. And you might be thinking, why would they say Southern Hemisphere spring just to confuse us? Okay, well, because the bird meteorology is Australian, and Australia is in the Southern Hemisphere, which is why they say it like this, because bird meteorology is Australia, and they're in the Southern Hemisphere. But that is Southern Hemisphere spring is Northern Hemisphere fall. All right, and chances for La Nina during that time are 50%, which is twice normal likelihood. All right, so looking at the climatological models here, all right, looking at August, and you can see right here that bird meteorology, all right, and all the models here are in a neutral phase except for NASA has us in a La Nina already. But NOAA, UKMO, all right, all different models here that have us in a what's called a weak neutral phase. So this is your El Nino, this is your La Nina, but this is your negative neutral, this is your positive neutral. Okay, this is kind of like your zero line. So in between there and the red line, you have what's called your positive neutral. In between the black line and the blue line, we have what's called your negative neutral. All right, but I don't want to confuse you guys too much. El Nino, neutral, La Nina. All right, and you can see as a lot of the models as we head through time September, a lot of the models shift towards La Nina. Okay, only 3 models are not in a La Nina here by Australian standards. Again, in case I have new viewers out there, Australian standards is 0.8 below for it to be a La Nina. For American standards, it's 0.5, but it has to be for a certain period of time. So for October here, again, barometeorology, NASA, NOAA, UKMO, and CanSIPs are just about there. All right. So you got your La Nina conditions building in here in November, sort of the same thing. All right. But this is getting towards the end of the hurricane season. If I wanted to, I could show you guys December, but since it doesn't really involve the hurricane season, I decided not to show December because hurricane season technically ends November 30th. All right. So all but 3 models have us in a La Nina by November. All right. And you can see by the mean here, which is the sum up of all the models, takes us to about 0.95 to close to 1 degree, which is a weak to even close to moderate La. That's close to a moderate La Nina here. And we do have a new update. This is actually just about a week ago. All right, and the bird meteorology updates don't come too often. They come pretty often, but they're not quite that often. So this is about a week ago. I'm sure in about a few days or a week we'll get another update, which is why I'll have another hurricane season discussion. But you can see that we've already been trending down. And the black, so this is basically month to date. So right here to here is month to date. We've been back up towards the zero line a little bit. Obviously, we had that little drop during May and June. But you can see we're definitely going to be trending downward again and well into a La Nina. If not, you can see by the 1.2 below average, maybe even a moderate La Nina is possible. But still in that weak to moderate range, you can see that some of the models trended more down this way. Some have a flatter trend this way. Not one model takes it not one model takes it above the zero line, let alone going towards El Nino. All right, so there's not really one outlier in this case. We have a good jumbo of models keep us in neutral, good jumbo of models, most of them keep us in a weak to moderate La Nina, which is really what's going to drive this hurricane season. And for many reasons that I'll be describing later in the video. So looking at August here, got that weak La Nina, 0.8 degrees, which is a weaker La Nina. You can see that, but it's a kind of a toss-up here. You got 55% chance of neutral, 45% chance of El Nino. But notice September, October, November, the chances for El Nino or La Nina are near 80%, 75 to 80%, and chances for neutral are about 20%. But again, no chances for El Nino. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what counts. All right, no chances of El Nino. And look how low we go, 1.2 degrees below average here, Celsius, across the tropical Pacific. So looking at the Nino 3-4 SST anomalies, okay, let me change to neon green because I'm going to have to highlight in the black background. So looking at August here, you can see not much has changed here. We got 0.6 degrees below average, all right, in terms of our SST anomaly, going down to 0.9 by October and 1.0 by December. So this is more... You're starting to get close to your moderate La Nina here, getting closer to it, October through December. I had no choice because obviously it skips every 2 months, so I had to go from. I didn't want to not include December. I just wanted to include December so I could show you guys how it's trending downward, and this isn't just a coincidence. So looking at the ocean temperature anomalies, let me flip on back to black here. All right, so here is your ocean temperature anomalies, and as you can see, much of the western Atlantic here, as well as the Caribbean, the Bay of Campeche, the southwestern Gulf. The reason parts of the Central Gulf are a little cooler is because we have our famous Hurricane Hannah that is now making landfall on the coast of Texas here. If you want to watch that, please consider watching that after this video. That was my other upload for today. Please consider watching it on my channel after this video. But the Bahamas, I mean pretty much everywhere, Bahamas, Caribbean, Bay of Campeche here, the Western Atlantic, even out through the tropical Atlantic, I'll be showing you guys that as well. All these regions are above average ocean temperature anomalies. You can see even out through the Delmarva, we got ocean temperatures of 80 degrees plus Fahrenheit right now. You can see 29 to 31, closing in on 90 for the Bay of Campeche here. Okay, we're talking about 88 degree water temperatures for the Bay of Campeche, but even the Caribbean and the Western and the tropical Atlantic, and out through the Western tropical Atlantic here, you got water temperatures anywhere from the low to mid 80s, and the Caribbean even closing on the upper 80s. So very, very warm water that we're seeing here. All right, out in the tropical Atlantic, as you can see, this is Africa on the right side of your screen. And most of the MDR region, we're definitely on a warming trend. We have a couple, there's an intensifying area of warmer than average waters, but we do have a couple little cooler spots embedded within this. All right, so definitely want to watch out for that. But the Cape Verde Islands themselves are in a warmer than average ocean water environment. Same thing down towards the Caribbean through the MDR, and even parts of the subtropics, the subtropical Atlantic up there. If you guys look really closely on the top left of your screen, you can actually see the coast of New Jersey right there on the very top left corner of your screen. But the subtropics, as well as the Caribbean, even most of the MDR is above average right now, and that's key for the season as well. Because look at the ocean water temperatures are starting to hit 80 now. We've been doing this for a little while. Like I said, this yellow line, which is those 80-degree waters, is going to start advancing, right, off to the east and the northeast. I mean, I used to show it to you guys. It used to be kind of back here, and now it's kind of moved up here. So the 80-degree waters are starting to fill in the map more. Our water is showing clear signs of warming, as it should this time of year. Because if the waters get colder, if we see a progressive trend of cooling waters, there's something wrong. All right, but the Cape Verde Islands, the southern end of the Cape Verde Islands, we have water temperatures of about 81. But the northern ends of the Cape Verde Islands, our water temperatures are currently about 78, 79. So it kind of depends. But Cape Verde Islands in general, 80-degree waters, which is plenty good for development. And when these storms check off of Africa, matter of fact, we'll be giving an update soon on Invest 92L. But if you want to go back to my channel, a couple videos ago, I did actually do an update on our forecast on 92L, but I will be providing another update for 92L, where we actually, that storm does have now a 70% chance of development by the National Hurricane Center. And I'm sure someone will put in the comments if the chances happen to go up, but for now, it is a 70% chance of development for Invest 92L. So looking at the Caribbean, we going up, definitely. I mean, as you saw in my last hurricane discussion, our water temp in my last muted weather discussion, our ocean temperatures have definitely gone up in terms of the anomalies, right? We're 0.7, we're about 3/4 of a degree, 3/4 of a degree above average Celsius water temperatures. Same thing for the MDR. We're about a half a degree above average. We're taking the same pattern here. We've gone up a lot, and now we're starting to come back down a little bit. But we're not shrinking quite as much. All right. North Atlantic, we've just been on the uptrend. We really haven't slowed down lately. They're about a third, close to 0.3 degrees above average. But keep in mind, it's on the cooler trend because this does include the Arctic as well. But it does give you an idea like the subtropics, which is why I include this, because tropical systems can still form up there. you can see we really never get above the 0 line all that much, if at all. So the fact that we're a third of a degree almost above average in terms of our water temperatures for the North Atlantic really says something. Eastern Atlantic is kind of like the other two. Just like the Caribbean and the MDR, this one has gone up. The ocean temperature anomalies have skyrocketed to about half a degree, and then we're starting to see a cooling trend, but we're not cooling to where we were before. We're still above average in where we were before. So we're still about 0.13 degrees above average for the East Tropical Atlantic off the coast of Africa. And like I said, with the MDR and everything, we do have some warmer waters, but we have some little slightly patches of cooler water as well, and that does get mixed in because the East Tropical Atlantic includes the whole East Tropical Atlantic, including parts of the Eastern Caribbean and all the way up by Africa. All right, so here's the Nino 3-4 index. You can see we really retreated back to 0 recently, kind of even now, basically almost exactly even, 0.05 degrees Celsius above average. But we did go back to 0.2 briefly, but this is all still neutral. If we start going up here towards the top of the graph, that's El Nino. You can see we were there at first, or at least in El Nino. We weren't actually in a full El Nino, but we were in El Nino, near El Nino status. But now, obviously, we started to see a little bit of an upward trend. This almost looks like a stock market chart, all right? But you can see that we started getting in neutral, and we're going to start heading back down, all right, because of the model forecasting and the fact that we're heading towards a La Nina. We look at the tropical intensity index, you can see saying here, Bahamas, Western Caribbean, we got some highly favorable conditions for development. Also, right where Hannah is, we have highly favorable conditions for development, but where Hannah has passed through already, you can see that unfavorable conditions have taken place because behind a tropical system, we saw the water cool down a little bit. We got some wind shear kicking in. But let's take a look at this. This map I've shown you guys a lot before. This is basically saying how far underwater, how far below sea level can we go and still see 80-degree waters plus, because the deeper colors you see on this map, the better it is for our hurricane season. And you can see these darker patches of red here. That does indicate that we can go 600 feet below the ocean surface and still find 80-degree waters. That is remarkable, because the farther up in this chart we are, the deeper the colors are, the more energy these can really feed into our tropical system / hurricanes. All right, even that darker orange color, talk about 150, that's still 450, 500 feet below the ocean surface, and still finding 80-degree waters besides the ocean surface being 80, because we know the Caribbean this time of year, the ocean waters are pretty much guaranteed to be 80 degrees plus. If not even close to 90. But you look at the tropical cyclone heat potential, and you can see that we definitely have, all right, all the way up on the scale almost in terms of our tropical cyclonic heat potential. It's definitely all the way up there on the scale. So that's definitely going to help the tropical system develop as well. Looking at the Gulf of Mexico, this is the same map as the first one right here, except we're in the Gulf of Mexico now. You can see that for the Gulf, it's usually a little bit more not quite as impressive as the Caribbean. We might go 200, 150, 200, 250 feet below the ocean surface and find some 80-degree waters. But the tropical cyclonic heat potential, we started building that in parts of the central western Gulf, but in the central Gulf, kind of like where the Gulf Stream starts almost, and just north of that, we're seeing an area of extremely low tropical cyclonic heat, which has been sitting there for a while, but other than that, most of the Gulf, the western and the eastern Gulf, definitely looks that we're doing okay. We're in the middle of the graph here in terms of our tropical cyclonic heat potential, which is okay. Right in the middle is better than being low. So let's take a look at Hannah. Hannah, very big hurricane here. So that's Hannah. That's what's left of Gonzalo, tropical depression Gonzalo. And then we have 92L out here in the Atlantic. So again, there's Hannah. All right, we got Gonzalo here, and we have 92L sitting out in the tropical Atlantic. So those are your three systems that we have. You can see Hannah and 92L are pretty large scale size, while Gonzalo, not so much. All right, you can see all three are seeing an environment currently where we have little to no dry air, all three systems here. All right, Gonzalo, we got a little dry air to your north. Same thing with 92L, we got some decent dry air to your north, but Hannah, not at all. It's kind of a free-for-all for Hurricane Hannah. Trying to say that 20 times fast. Hurricane Hannah. But going on the tropical landing, you see 92L, kind of like Gonzalo, will take a little bit more of a southerly track, more sitting at more 10 degrees north latitude. Why does it do that? Because if it goes north, it cuts into that extreme dry air from the Saharan dust, and that kind of kills the storm, and that's what 92L doesn't want. That's probably what we want, because We don't want to see another destructive hurricane like Hannah could potentially be, sadly for Texas. But dry air definitely looking like it's lacking, which is good news for hurricane season development. For the East Coast, the Gulf, the Caribbean, even parts of the tropical Atlantic, not all of it, because some parts are still pretty bad. Let's take a look at the wind shear. Wind shear with Hannah, the eastern side of it's getting a little bit of shear cut into it. All right. The Caribbean, we got a little bit of wind shear, so I think we're still going through a little bit of a development phase here. You can see Gonzalo, actually, according to this, the low pressure center of Gonzalo is actually sitting in northern South America right now. So it could have already dropped into South America and already started dying out. So that's pretty freaky. But looking to where 92L is, it's sitting right about here in the tropical Atlantic. You can see 92L is in a not bad wind shear environment. All right. I think 92L, the conditions for it right now are okay. Dry air, it's a little bit, but not too horrible. Same thing with the wind shear. I think it's in an okay environment. It's not the best environment in the world, but it's okay. All right. So here is the another tropical cyclonic heat potential map. You can see right there in Central Caribbean, and even outside of that. All right, you can see very, very high amounts of tropical cyclonic heat. And if Gonzalo had made it this far, it could have developed, if it hadn't dropped into South America. But when 92L, when and if 92L comes through here, all right, the conditions could be, we could see some pretty conducive conditions for development. Even the Western Gulf I've seen has been getting better than the past couple months with our tropical cyclonic heat potential. Take a look at the wind shear now. All right, so here's the Caribbean. We're definitely running below average on the wind shear. This is your black line, it's where it should be. And we're definitely running below average on the wind shear, which is good news for the season. Same thing with the tropical Atlantic. We go up and down a lot, as you can see. But as of right now, we are definitely running below average on wind shear, because usually the black line indicates where we should be for our wind shear. So you can see, obviously, climatologically, it does drop through the summer, early fall, and it goes back up through the winter. All right, and then winter starts over on the left side of your screen, and the year would just start over again from there. All right, so again, let's take a look at the wind shear. The wind shear anomalies is what I like to look at. And you can see where 92L is over the next 3 to 7 days, all right, through August 1st. You can see that we got some average wind shear where 92L is, so not bad development there. But in terms of the season as a whole, all right, the above average wind shear in the Gulf and the northern parts of the Caribbean, not necessarily good news, but this is through August 1st. So how about the 30th of July through the 4th of August, and this is what kind of scares me about this hurricane season. Look how we start to see some below average wind shear, according to the GFS model, start to take place here out in the tropical Atlantic, even farther north, almost towards right between the tropical Atlantic and the subtropics. Because you kind of consider, like, I would say you consider this area more your subtropics. This is your tropical Atlantic. Well, right in between there, right in between your regions of subtropics and tropical Atlantic, right in here, we got a lot of below average wind shear, and that's what's been concerning me for a while with this hurricane season. About August 2nd through the 7th, we're starting to see the Caribbean let up on shear a little bit. Got some average shear here. We got a little bit of wind shear out in the tropical Atlantic. Even the 5th to the 10th, all right, we're starting to see that the wind shear is kind of going back and forth. But sometimes when the models go out far in time, they like to increase the wind shear anyway. That's what the models like to do. So once we get closer to August 5th through 10th, we'll take a better look at this map. Now, I have upgraded my hurricane season numbers. Again, you might be thinking, the weather dude, it still says 13 to 19. Right. 13 to 19, meaning, actually, that should actually say the 25th. Sorry about that. All right, that should say the 25th. But I decided not to really change this because that technically means I upgraded it. Like, how does that make sense? Well, I'll tell you. All right, we did have, obviously, Gonzalo just recently formed as well as Hannah. So what I think is that we could have another 13 to 19 named storms, even though we just had a couple form. I think we could still have an additional 13 to 19. We could still have another 8 to 12 hurricanes and another 3 to 7 major hurricanes. So technically, yes, my numbers actually did go up, even though they stayed the same at the same time. Pretty weird, huh? Seasonal average, we usually, in a whole season, we usually have 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes. And again, tropical storms getting steered towards the United States. We got an influence of high pressure. I show this all the time because it's most certainly true. That's what we're going to be watching out for the season. This is the same or similar steering flow that Gonzalo and Hannah followed. So we'll be watching out for that. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I'm Dweller Dude, signing off. Till next time, catch you guys in the next video.